that sucked. Oh, that sucked, but I'm gonna leave it in. And I left all that time on the table, 2.30. Be the wind, be the wind, be the wind. Ever since I had LASIK surgery on my eyes, I'm having difficulty seeing my front sight post because here, my eyes have been turned into binoculars, okay? If I look at that target on the hill, which is 300-ish yards from where we're standing, I can clearly see its outline, neck, head, and everything. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I could see the bolts or not, but I can clearly see the full outline of that target. All of these trees that you see in the distance, I can cleanly see all the colors, everything is vibrant, and it's like looking at stuff in 4K. I mean, just, your eyes do this. But when you have LASIK surgery, you're going to knowingly surrender close-up vision. So I knew that when I had surgery, I was going to lose the ability to cleanly see the fiber optic red dot on my sights. Is what it is. But I needed the ability to clearly see everything at night. Anyways, I digress. I'm getting off target here, so let's get back to it. 10 yards. Front sight. 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 Hey guys, welcome out to the range. Today I wanted to do a brief video to address something that came up yesterday during training. I had some students out here for handgun intensive and we had a great time, and in one of the blocks of instruction I talk about your pistol sights, about if you're not wearing your weapon in the vehicle, like if you're on an extended drive or if your job is of the nature where you're driving for extended periods of time. It's perfectly normal to have your pistol sitting in the center console. And it's important that people understand that if your pistol is sitting in its holster in the center console and it is sitting on an object or on a surface that is hard, as the pistol vibrates while you're driving, there's a hammering effect, and it just goes ding 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 ding, and it actually will migrate your sights over. And this happened recently to one of my students who came out here, and luckily it didn't happen to the guys yesterday, but I always address it with students, but it happened to a guy a couple classes prior who had come out and his pistol, the sights had migrated over. So first several shots of that morning were off. And I know this guy, he shoots well, I know him. And so I said, give me your handgun. And I'm like, yeah, your stuff's off center. And it was a huge wake-up call moment for him, for both of us. Because I always, we always assume that things only happen to us. And I always forget that things happen to other people too that are very similar to what happens to me. So anyways, I wanted to address this and share it with you guys. Don't adjust your sights. Adjust your technique. Adjust your performance. You saw the misses that I made here, and I've left them in. Like I said, I had LASIK surgery 90 days ago, which has turned my eyes into binoculars. To give you an idea, that building up on the hill, that building you see way up there on the hill, I can cleanly see the lines in the corrugated siding in that building. I can actually see the texture in the siding panels. But what I have now lost is the ability to finally, cleanly see objects that are right here at arm's length. I can still see my watch, 1541. I can see that it's 1541, but I lose some of that. I can see the Garmin. I can read the Garmin at the very top. If I concentrate on it, force my eyes to focus. So guys, it's one of those things that I went into with LASIK, with, no pun intended, with both eyes open. I knew what I was going in for. I absolutely knew it. But the sacrifice for me was, I'm going to sacrifice some of the close-up vision, but here's the deal. My visual acuity without correction in my eyes was only this far. My astigmatism was off the charts. It was horrendous. So the astigmatism has been dramatically reduced to a very manageable point. My vision is phenomenal now, because remember, technically with LASIK, I don't have correction in my eyes or on my eyes. It is now a part of my eyes. So with the LASIK done, I can clearly see everything around me that is past about 7 feet. Everything is crystal clear, incredibly sharp. I can see things. My vision is 20/10. I can see things at a very, very clear level. But inside of that 6-ish foot distance, actually no, I think it's more or less. I think it's four-ish feet or so. I lose fine detail. But I'm okay with that, because without LASIK, I would not be able to see anything in darkness without my correction in place. So it was a sacrifice that I made. It also means I'm having to retrain my eyes. And as much as I would love to alter things on my handgun to suit the new setting of my eyes, that ain't gonna happen. I'm retraining my eyes to the handgun. I know this handgun is perfect. I have thousands and thousands of rounds through this Glock 17. I absolutely know it will stack rounds. So I'm having to retrain myself to focus on that fiber optic front sight post and know that the shot that I have has to be good enough to get the job done, which means I have to slow down. I have to mentally slow down enough to go front sight. And I didn't. That time I actually missed because I yanked the trigger. Front sight. So yeah. So now I'm having to remember, preload the trigger. Guys, for those of you who are the 20-something whippersnappers where you're like, oh man, I don't know what he's talking about. That used to be me years ago. When guys would say, my astigmatism is a problem, I'd be like, or guys would say, I have difficulty seeing my red dot, I'd go, right? And then 40-something happened. And then 45 happened. And then 46, 47, 48, 49 happened. And at 49, I went, I gotta fix this. So August 3rd, 2021, I went in and had LASIK surgery done at Wolfson Eye Institute, and bingo, problem fixed. 80% of problems fixed. I still have 20% of, of some issues that will never be fixed. Those are things that actually, with all honesty, I would say it's more like 90-something% problem fixed. And the close-up vision, to me, guys, that's small potatoes. That doesn't even bother me all that much. This right here is just work. I just got to put the work in. And I've been so busy over the last several months making slings for you guys, training people. Anyone who's a firearms trainer knows you spend more time training people than you do shooting, and it really ticks you off. It's like the mechanic. The mechanic spends more time fixing other people's cars, and he ends up driving a jalopy because he's putting all of his energy in making other people's lives better. So I'm having to force myself to come out here the day after I taught a class yesterday, so I'm a little on the sunburned side, and my eyes are kind of like bugging out of my head from way too many concussive events, because when guys are shooting, I'm standing beside them and I'm diagnosing body mechanics, hand placement, trigger placement. So I'm standing sometimes parallel, if not slightly front of the muzzle, watching what their hands are doing, and my face is getting beat up in the process. So anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know, folks, put in the work. Put in the work, put in the work. Do not start tweaking your gun and moving things around on your gun to compensate for poor technique. I just showed you what poor technique looks like. Fix the technique. Just once again in closing, do not start tweaking your handgun to fix poor technique. Fix the technique. It doesn't matter how many tactical doodads you add to your gun. All it's going to do is add more weight to the gun, and it doesn't add performance, it just adds gizmos and gadgets and doodads. So guys, simple handguns with good equipment on them and time on target. I'll leave you with this. This is something that I tell my students. You are better off, because people say, well, ammunition is ridiculous or I don't have somewhere to train. Okay. The drills that I do are easy. They can be done in your backyard with an airsoft handgun. You are better off spending money on a really high quality airsoft handgun than you are buying one of those little recoil doodads for your handgun that runs off CO2 or whatever. Invest in a really top quality airsoft weapon that you can basically mimic to feel like your own. Dremel that thing up and make it work so that it feels like your handgun. And get in your backyard, get in your garage, set up paper targets. And these drills that I do, where we're basically doing 5 yards one way, 5 yards the other way, and it's basically left, right, left, 5 rounds, 5 rounds, 5 rounds, you can do that with an airsoft. As long as that airsoft delivers those pellets exactly where you're aiming, you're getting a very good analog of firearms training out of a quality airsoft weapon. So guys, consider that. As always, I thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Get those guns out in practice. Have a good one.